Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. If you are new around here, then hi, my name is Vicky and I am going to be talking through my first trimester of my second pregnancy. So one of the things in this video is like the prime reason this video is so late. So I am into my second trimester now. I'm actually just over 15 weeks, but the lack of motivation in this pregnancy has just been something else. But we'll get on to that in the video. So I'm going to kind of try and do it in as much order as I can. I'm mainly doing it from memory. I wrote down a list the other day of kind of symptoms and feelings and things like that that have kind of gone on through the first trimester. I was going to do it like video diary style, like vloggy style, but honestly, at the time where things happened, I just couldn't be bothered. So without further ado, let's dive in. So again, if you are new around here, then you may not know that I am one of those people, I like to tell it how it is. I'm quite open and honest, maybe a little bit too open sometimes. So if you don't like TMI stuff, click out of the video. And if you don't mind that kind of thing, then keep watching. So there's two things that kind of happened fairly early on. I think it was around the kind of week that I found out, and they were almost signs to me or symptoms to me that something was going on. I was either pregnant or just something was going on. And those were changing my bowel movements in terms of that week in my cycle normally, like the week leading up to my cycle and kind of the few days into it, my bowel movements essentially just stop. I just get super constipated every time I go to try, like it's really painful. It's just not a nice experience and I'm just used to that. But I found this actually with my pregnancy with my daughter as well, that just didn't happen at all. So that was kind of like the first like, oh shit, kind of moment. And the other one was breathlessness. And again, I remember this first time round and I remember thinking, why is this happening so early? Like obviously after I took the test and found out I was pregnant, I was like, why am I so breathless like this early on? You know, we're only talking a couple of weeks. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but I found myself getting really out of breath really quickly, and I'm asthmatic, so that's not abnormal, but it was like more than normal, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, I could just go for a walk and all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, I need to slow down. Like I'm getting really out of breath here. So yeah, they were the two things that kind of happened really early on in terms of like symptoms and things. And in terms of like kind of how I felt when I found out, I did kind of touch on this in my pregnancy like announcement video, which I'll leave linked in a card and in the description box if you haven't seen it. But I kind of had this feeling of just, I don't know, like I just didn't know what to think. And that kind of carried on for quite some time, and after speaking to quite a few people, I found that it's quite normal, especially kind of with consecutive pregnancies. You just kind of, I don't know, you just feel a bit different. And that's not to say that this baby's not wanted. I just need to clarify that, like, this baby is so wanted and we are so excited, but it doesn't stop that weird feeling at the beginning of just like, oh okay, like you don't have, I didn't have that excitement like that I had when I found out with my daughter. So around kind of 5 weeks is where I started to notice kind of symptoms ramping up, and that kind of started with my bowel movements again. I am so sorry if you don't like talking about things like this, but I really don't mind. I mean, I've had a baby, I'm having another baby. You kind of just have to be open about talking about these kind of things, don't you? But yeah, essentially they were just a bit all over the bloody shop for quite some time, and I just remember thinking, oh my god, I've literally got nothing left inside of me, basically. Like it was just mental. Obviously things were kind of normal for the like lead up to finding out, and then after I found out, it was just like my body was just clearing everything out, almost like if you've ever had a baby, that kind of bit where your body's preparing for labour, and you know, you go to the toilet quite a lot. And it was almost like that, and I was just like, I don't know if that is just my body's way of reacting, and like, I don't know. But anyway, that was a whole thing, and it lasted a couple of weeks, like you say. And then kind of around a week or so after is when a few more kind of crept in and stayed for quite some time. So the first of those being nausea. So I was very fortunate that it was / still is just nausea. I've only been sick once. It was just like randomly in the middle of the night. So I don't know if it was like pregnancy related sickness or what, I don't know. But fortunately I have only been sick the once, and the rest of the time it has just been that notion of feeling sick, which is almost worse sometimes, because you just feel like, oh, I'd rather just be sick and get it over with kind of thing. Not that I know that's not always the case, like, you know, some people, like, they're sick and they still feel sick afterwards, and it's just a horrible time. I am fully aware of that, and I am fully aware of how lucky I have been. But yeah, it's just that feeling sick constantly. It's not just in the morning, it's all fucking day. Until you actually manage to close your eyes and go to sleep, it's there. So that is just something that I have experienced this time round, along with something that I did experience in my first pregnancy, and that was just this like pressure headache that literally lasted for months. It was the bane of my life in my first pregnancy. I honestly thought that it wasn't going to go away, and it was just constant pressure in my head, and like every now and then it would get to the point that it was literally like thudding, and I was like, I don't know what this is this a migraine? Like, I don't really know what's going on. And yeah, the only way that I can kind of explain it as well is almost like, you know, when you get really dehydrated and you feel like your head starts to pound and you're like, oh, I really need to drink something, I haven't drunk something in a few hours or whatever. Mainly like that feeling you get like on holiday where it's like really hot, you're dehydrated, that kind of feeling, but just like all day, which really added to the nausea, because like I say, my head was just thumping and I was just like, I just don't want to do anything, I don't want to eat anything. Like, it just wasn't a very nice time. I still have the headache now. It's not as bad, I feel like, as it was when it kind of first started, and kind of for the last kind of couple of weeks. It has kind of subsided a bit now. It is still there, and every now and then I'll just have this like random pounding, and I will just take some paracetamol just to try and take the edge off. Not that it really does, but yeah, that is one thing that I did experience actually the first time round, and I was quite annoyed when it came back again, because of how long it lasted the last time and how much I knew I could relax last time and I can't this time. It was a bit more like, oh, I really don't want to have to do that again kind of thing. But by the by, it is what it is and was what it was kind of thing. And then the other two things were a horrible taste in my mouth, which is very much still there. And I find it's worse when I eat sweet things or drink like a sweet drink, like a fizzy drink or something like that. I always find I have that horrible taste in my mouth. You know when you've like eaten chocolate sometimes and you feel like, ugh, you just feel like you need to brush your teeth and kind of swirl your mouth out with some mouthwash because you just feel, ugh, kind of thing. That's the only way I can describe it, and I know not everyone like experiences that, but I've had that pretty much the whole duration. I still have it now. It's very annoying. There's only like so many things that can kind of stop it, and it's only for so long until you eat something else again and then you have that horrible taste back again. But yeah, I mean, as symptoms go, it's not that bad, it's just irritating more than anything. And the other thing that has been more of a problem, and partially I think is circumstantial, and that is first trimester pregnancy fatigue. Oh my god, does it hit you second time round? I imagine it does with each pregnancy as they kind of go on. If you are, you know, if you do plan on having more than two, I do not. But yeah, it really, really hits you harder. Like, especially, like I say, when you have another child or children to look after, and things like that. And like I say, kind of my circumstances this time around are completely different. I have a toddler to look after. I'm currently, well, I have been solo parenting for the whole duration of my pregnancy, and I have another month to go because my husband is currently on deployment. So there is just a lot of kind of pressure on me at the moment to do everything. And yeah, that just instantly makes you more tired. And then throwing in that general kind of fatigue you get with the first trimester, it's just something else. And it's brought on its own set of kind of feelings and things, struggles, if you like, because I've just felt like I don't want to do anything. I'm absolutely exhausted, especially come the afternoon, which is kind of where I've been struggling the most, because my daughter's on like one nap a day, so she'll more or less nap in like the middle of the day. So by the time she's woken up, that's when I'm starting to flag, and I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered to do anything, and she's full of energy, and I just have to kind of, I've had to just kind of sit on the sofa and just let her play independently, which she is really good at, and it is really nice to see. But at the same time, you just kind of get that mum guilt of like, oh, I should be doing something with you, or like I should be playing with you, or whatever. Like it's brought on its own set of like struggles, like I say. But in general, like it's not been that bad. Like as pregnancy symptoms go, they're kind of like the main things that have kind of gone on in the first trimester. They're not that bad. They are different to what I experienced first time round. Does that mean I'm having a boy? Who knows? But yeah, I'm happy to have experienced two different kind of pregnancies. Just, I don't know, just out of pure interest. But yeah, it's certainly not been easy. So then on to like the other kind of things. So one of the things, like I mentioned earlier on, is just that complete lack of motivation. And it's not even just because of the fatigue. I mean, it partially might be, but I've just literally felt like, oh, I just can't be bothered. You know that feeling sometimes? Like, if you suffered with your mental health like I have, then you may kind of know this kind of thing that I'm about to try and explain. But that feeling of when you're having a bad mental health day and you wake up in the morning and you're just like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to eat. I don't want to do anything. I literally just want to stay here. It's like that, but literally like it's nothing to do with mental health. Like I know that because I've experienced, like you say, mental health feelings and things for over 10 years now, and I know when it is mental health related and when it's not, and it's just not. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it is something that is just gonna go and I'm suddenly gonna get this burst of motivation just come back. I don't know, but I was so motivated when my husband first left to, you know, make more content on here and do more things with my daughter, take her to groups and, you know, do all of these fun things, especially because obviously we were going into summertime. But honestly, that's just gone out the window. I think it was pretty much a week or so, maybe 2 weeks after I found out, it just went like, I just have no motivation. It's still not come back now. Like I say, I'm 15 weeks now. So yeah, that's something I'm really, really struggling with actually. I'm having to like really kind of push myself to do a lot of things, even if it's like cooking some dinner, which again, I just feel really guilty about. But I know it just is what it is. It's just kind of part of the territory of being pregnant. And yeah, so like I say, hopefully that will kind of go soon. And then I've had a couple of aversions. The main one being to coffee, which is so bizarre to me because I was really, really into coffee. Pretty much since having my daughter. Kind of what happens when you have a child, isn't it? You don't like coffee and then you go to freaking, surviving off the stuff. But yeah, since finding out I was pregnant this time, again, it was probably a couple of weeks later, it just hit me. It's not even the smell. I don't mind the smell at all, but it's just, I think it's more the taste of it. I don't know if it's because it mixes with that weird taste that's already in my mouth or what. I've had a couple of coffees out and they've not been too bad. But when I go to make a drink, like a hot drink at home, I never think, oh, I'll make myself a coffee. I think I have twice. And I don't think I've drunk the whole thing at all. And I've put in more sugar than I would normally to try and make it taste a bit nicer. Doesn't really work. So yeah, that's one thing that I've gone off of. And the other thing, which I did kind of go off with my daughter as well, is meat. So I went off chicken specifically when I was pregnant with her. Literally, like, I couldn't look at it. Like, Joe could eat it at a push, but I couldn't. I just couldn't go near it. And it wasn't just like raw chicken, it was cooked chicken, like it didn't matter. I just couldn't eat it. And this time it's not as bad as that, and I will eat it if it's cooked for me, but I just don't have that kind of thing, that kind of compelling thing to, oh, I'm gonna have a burger, like I'm gonna cook myself a chicken stir fry, or, you know, like something like that. It just doesn't appeal to me at all. And I found that really bizarre and really quite hard actually to try and kind of get a lot of protein in. I'm fine with like eggs and things, so I've been trying to like up how many eggs I eat and things like that have natural protein in and what have you. But yeah, meat I'm really struggling with, including like even cooked meat, so like ham and things, like just not into it at all, which is just bizarre to me. And then the only other thing that I was going to talk about was my skin and my emotions, so kind of under the hormone bracket, if you like. So probably in this clip you can't really tell what my skin is like, obviously I have makeup on and stuff, and I did find with my first pregnancy, again, I struggled really bad with my skin. I'll include a clip, if I remember, of how bad it was. It was just so bad. And granted, like, my skin this time around is nowhere near as bad. It was more so kind of at the start, I guess, where my hormones were kind of like going really like proper spiked. It got really bad. I had those really sore, painful ones like constantly. It has slowed down a lot now. I do still have quite a few and they pop up quite often, but it's nowhere near as bad as my first pregnancy. But that is one kind of thing that's just come with the hormonal change, as it does. And my emotions, like I say, a lot of it is kind of hormone related, so obviously I am just more sensitive to everything. Like mental health side of emotion, I guess, like in terms of how I'm feeling now as to when like I found out. Like I said earlier, like I was just feeling very like, I don't know, like I just didn't let it sink in. I just felt different this time round, like physically, just, I don't know what it was like. And I just had this kind of worry in the back of my mind unnecessarily, but I don't know, I just felt really different this time. And I would say that's probably changed a little bit more now, probably since having my 12-week scan. Things have kind of just like settled. I feel a bit more chill, like it's kind of sunk in a bit more now. But still, I think again it's possibly the circumstances, like my husband still being away, we still haven't really been able to kind of celebrate it properly. And obviously I've got a lot of different things going on with my daughter at the moment. So it's almost like my brain hasn't got the space to think about it, or kind of take it in and things like that. So I think it's more that than a negativity towards it. Like I say, hopefully that is something that will change kind of as things kind of settle with what's going on with my daughter, and when my husband comes home, and just things will just, we'll enjoy that like kind of lead up to having a baby. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, that kind of rounds up my first trimester. Like I say, this is completely different to kind of first time round, so it's going to be quite interesting to kind of watch these back one day. But yeah, with my first pregnancy, I did fairly regular updates. I think I did them weekly. That's not going to happen this time round, let's be honest. 1, because of my motivation. 2, I don't have the time. And 3, because I just don't know if you guys want to see that kind of thing. If you do, please do let me know. Or whether you'd prefer I just do kind of every couple of weeks, like every 2 to 3 weeks, do a kind of roundup. Also, let me know if you'd prefer it to see it like this, like I used to do them, or whether you would kind of like to see it kind of more video diary style. So like as it happens, like me talking about certain things and things. So yeah, I will also be doing like vlogs when we do, like when we go to the scan and things, and when we do our gender reveal, because I think I've decided that we're gonna find out. My wind had to just ruin my sentence then, sorry. So yeah, there'll be all sorts going on the channel, so if you are new, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I checked my analytics the other day, and like it's 80% of my viewers aren't actually subscribed, so if you're not, please just click the button down below. If you are watching me on a TV, I'm sorry for starters, but just literally you can click up, I think, and then it brings up my little icon. You can subscribe that way, or just go on to like a mobile device or something like that. Press the subscribe button, obviously it's free, and yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will see you all very soon. Bye guys.